Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. I'm Caitlin Smith, your webinar host from Main Street ROI. We're very excited to be having another of our Master Your Marketing series where we bring together leaders in the digital marketing world to bring you great content focused on ways you can grow your business. The series is sponsored by all of our partners, WooRank, Active Demand, Optimizer, Lucky Orange, Likeable Local, and Hello Bar. For today's webinar, we're excited to welcome Sam Gooch, Head of Technical SEO at WooRank. At the end, we will leave plenty of time for a live Q&A session. You can feel free to type any questions you have in the Q&A box along the way, and we'll get back to them at the end of the webinar. As always, today's webinar will be recorded, and we'll send out a replay video along with a PDF of the slides to everybody who has signed up. So if you get any calls or are pulled away for work, don't worry, you're not going to miss a thing. With that, I'll turn the webinar over to Sam so he can get started.
Hello there, everyone. So today I'm going to talk about local SEO, why it's important to businesses serving particular areas, and how you can use it to reach more customers, get more people into your physical store as well as your online store. So I'm Sam Gooch, I'm Head of Technical SEO here at WooRank. I started working on SEO back in 2008, and I've worked for a number of businesses, both small and large. I've also worked for agencies, and I've covered most industries in lots of different verticals, so I've pretty much seen it all. And as I said, I work for WooRank, so we've actually partnered up with Main Street ROI to give this webinar today. WooRank is, if you've not heard already, it's an SEO tool. We were founded back in 2010. We've now got over 1 million registered users, and we're available in 6 different languages. So today, the things that I'm going to be covering, so I'll be running through basically why local SEO is so important for local businesses, how you can add and update your business information in the Google Maps and also in Bing Maps as well, how you can optimize those listings to appear higher in the search results, and also how you can optimize your actual pages to show up in the normal search results in the local search results. How you can identify target keywords that you'd want to go after as well, and then what you'd need to do in order to so you can target those keywords, make yourself actually rank and show up in the search results. And also, you obviously, once you've got those in there, you're going to want to be able to track them based on the city and region. So I'll go through that as well. And then at the end, as Caitlin said, we'll have some time for some questions as well. So feel free to post your questions, and then we'll answer them at the end. So first of all, I just wanted to, for all of those who aren't currently aware, what is local search? So local search basically refers to searches that carry local intent. So these often include searches that have sort of different search query types, and they also return different types of search results. So for example, if you search for a term like coffee shops downtown San Antonio, you're expecting to come up with a list of coffee shops that are going to be nearby. So here you can see an example of the local pack results, which are the 3 results you see there. You also get like a map, so you can click on the map to get more results. You can click on each of those search results as well, and you get more details about the business. And obviously, you get a link through to the business as well. So obviously, if you're showing up high there, people are going to eventually make it through to your website, and then hopefully come into your actual store as well. So you also have another sort of type of search, which might be, you might already be aware of the business that you're actually searching for and the location as well. So in this case, B Temple, which is my favorite burger restaurant here in Lisbon. So I would search for B Temple Lisbon. I know what I'm looking for. Google can tell that I obviously know what I'm looking for. So it gives me the knowledge panel there on the right, which can give, you've got images in there, you can get reviews, you've got the address and lots of other information. You can also actually reserve a table in this case as well, which is really good stuff. So they've actually partnered up with a company called The Fork, and you can go in there and set the date and the time you want to reserve your table, and you'll get an email sent to you to your Google account, which is really handy stuff. Also, another kind of search that you might have that carries local intent is like here, burger restaurants. So being in Lisbon, if I'm searching for burger restaurants, I'm not expecting to see burger restaurants in New York, for example. So I'd want to see the local ones around me. So I'm going to talk a bit in a bit about how to optimize for these kind of terms as well. But first, I just wanted to run through how you can, or the process that a searcher would go through when they're searching for a local intent keyword. So first off, the searcher would obviously carry out their search query, like the coffee shops downtown in San Antonio. Then the search engine will evaluate the search query, and it will try and understand the type of intent that's there. So in this case, it's clearly a local business that we're searching for. The search engine then checks its database to see what references it might have, what kind of relevant content might be around, and relevant pages that it can look through. And then it will look into its index. So that's essentially a snapshot that it's made of the internet. So it'll have details of all these pages, and then it can start evaluating each of the pages. So it can determine how relevant they are to the location, and maybe how trustworthy the content is as well, based on the location. And then finally, the search engine will rank all of the search results accordingly. So based on which ones that it deems are most relevant. So the more relevant ones, maybe one that's closer to you, or it's got better reviews, will appear higher up, and then lower down will be the ones that are a bit further away. So yeah, here are some examples of how that might look in Google. We obviously got lots of different results. Google's always changing and come up with new results as well. So, but you can see here on the left, as I mentioned earlier, you've got the local pack results. In the middle, you've got the actual search results, but they are sort of local search results. And then on the right, you've actually got the map itself as well. And then let's not forget about Bing. So Bing has a sort of similar, they have local search obviously as well. So here you can see they've got like these cards at the top there. Each one of those is a link through to a restaurant, or some more information about each restaurant. They pull the reviews there in from Yelp, and then you can actually click through to the map as well, which you can see there in the bottom right, and then they've got their local search results in there as well. So why is local search so vital for local businesses? I guess I've kind of answered that already with the above, but we'll just go through a few things. So number one, it helps you to promote your products and services to the local customers, but at exactly the time that they're searching for them online. So imagine you're out wandering around the streets, you're getting hungry, and you fancy a burger, like I mentioned a few times. So this way you can actually attract people to your restaurant at the exact time they're looking. Number two, it can help to build some trust. So you're showing potential customers your reputation. So hopefully you can surface some great reviews of happy customers. If a customer is going to see that you've got 5 reviews next to you and there are 300 people that are saying great things, obviously that's going to make people instantly trust you. And then that will drive more people to your restaurant and generate more sales. Number 3, appearing in the search results gives you more visibility online. So imagine you've got these 3 different types of search results. You've got the local pack results, and then the 10 results below, and the map results. If you can get in all of those places, then the likelihood that somebody's going to see you is much higher. So you're more likely to get more people through the door and into your business. Number 4, local SEO is free. So just like traditional SEO, there's no like recurring fee. Obviously, it costs you, if you have an agency, it's obviously going to cost you the agency. But if you're doing it yourself, which local SEO is absolutely something you can do yourself, then it only costs you the time that you have to put into it. You don't have to keep paying as you would do with paid advertising. Number 5, local SEO, or local search, sorry, has very high conversion rates, the highest of all advertising channels, in fact. So it makes it an extremely valuable source of new business, because people are much more likely to buy from you when they see you, and they're, like I said before, they're sort of searching at the time, they're nearby, they can pop into your shop straight away. And then finally, number 6, as well as driving people to your physical store, you can get people to your website as well. You don't necessarily have to have the physical store there to target these people when you're looking at the main sort of 10 blue link search results. So if you can target a particular area that's not necessarily where you have your business, that's another way to get people to your website. Just a couple of stats that I've pulled out from Google. So obviously users are becoming much more familiar with search results, with local search, so they know that if they're searching for burger restaurants, then like I say, they're going to be getting burger restaurants that are around them. So they're expecting to see relevant businesses that they can visit there and then. So Google, according to Google, 76% of people who search for something nearby them using a smartphone will actually visit the business within 1 day, and then a massive 28% of those will go on to make a purchase. So that makes it, definitely worth going after. Also, another example that that people are becoming more familiar with local searches is that people searching for queries using buying and local intent. So for example, houses on sale near me, these kinds of searches have grown by 250% year on year for the last 2 years. So it just shows how valuable these kind of going after these keywords is. So yeah, we can see that Google Maps clearly plays a big part of local search, but you're probably all wondering how you can get your business listed in Google Maps and how you can update the results in there as well. So Google My Business, sorry, is a free and easy to use tool. It helps businesses to manage their online presence across Google, but in the search as well as the maps as well. You have to verify your business with an account, and then that allows you to make the changes to the account. So you can do this yourself as a business owner, or you can do it working on behalf of your business owner. So you could have an agency working for you, which means if you're an agency, you can also do it for the businesses you're working with. You can edit the information. You can do this to help customers not only find you and tell them the relevant information about your business, but you can also tell them the story of your business. So there's a bit of a blurb in there to give some details about your business. So to start this, you can just head over to business.google.com and check that out. If your listing already appears, you can manage it by verifying that you own the business. So to do this, it seems a little bit old school, but Google will send you a postcard and there'll be a code on that postcard. So that's basically to verify that you are actually at the address you say you're at. And then when you get the postcard, you just have to go onto your Google My Business account, enter the code, and then that shows that you're the owner and you'll be verified. And then that'll give you the ability to update all the information from your opening hours, your business name, and anything that matters in there. If you don't have a listing yet, then obviously get over there and create your account. When creating your account, so here you can see you get to choose your category. So you have to choose what category your business falls under. You can have your primary category, and you can also have some subcategories as well. It's really important, especially for the primary category, to make sure that you choose the right category. There are lots of different variations of categories, so just try and choose the best one that sort of fits you. So here you can see not only is there one just cafe, there's also vegetarian, cafe, and deli, which is quite specific. But if it's really your target market, then that will help you to appear when people are searching for vegetarian cafes. There's also, depending on your business category, you can sometimes get some special features that are available from Google within your listing. So for example, hotel listings can sort of list their actual class ratings, so whether it's a 5-star or a 4-star hotel, and then they can also list all of the services that they offer within the hotel as well. So it could be that they have spas or swimming pools or that kind of stuff, and then that will actually help them. So if they do have a spa, then maybe they can show up in the search result for spas as well, not only hotels. So it can really help out there. Equally, if you're a food and drink business, should I say, you can add special URLs that list your online orders. You can also allow people to make reservations, and you can provide details of your menu as well to your potential customers. And then if you offer services or health and beauty businesses, you can have like a book now button, which will allow people to book directly through your business. And they can also, you can provide sort of a list of all the details of all the services that you offer as well. So something that's really important when filling out your Google My Business account is to make sure that you complete all the data or all of the fields that they ask for as well as you can, because the more you have in there, the more people are going to be able to understand what you offer, and the more likely you are to show up a bit higher. So Google actually favors local results that are sort of more relevant based on the search queries that people are going after. So the more accurate and the more complete that the information that you offer, the better, the more likely you are to show up in the search results. So make sure that you've entered all the obvious stuff in there, like the opening hours, and then also, like your address. You've got to make sure that your address appears exactly as it does on your website as well, and anywhere else you mention your address. So try and keep the format and everything exactly the same, because you don't want to confuse search engines over where you're actually located. You can also obviously enter your phone number. So if you have a local phone number, that's sort of a little ranking signal to Google. It really tells Google you are based where you say you are. So that'll help you as well. And as I said, making sure you've got the best category or the most relevant category will help you there as well. So Google doesn't actually attribute the traffic that comes from your Google My Business listing within Google Analytics. to a sort of particular source, but there is a way around it. So if you want to understand, once you've got your Google My Business account up and running, you might suddenly see a spike in traffic, but it won't be immediately obvious to you where that traffic came from. So this is where the campaign URL builder tool comes in handy. It looks complicated, but it's really not. So basically, if you search Google for campaign URL builder, and then you click the first result, you'll get like a little form that should look a bit like the one that you can see here. It allows you to create special URLs, and these pass details to Google Analytics about the source of the traffic. So you can then go into Analytics afterwards and track it. So I'll try and explain that a bit more. If in this case you've got the URL here, which is, if we were doing it to our website, it would be our actual, our home page. And then the source here, you can call it whatever you want, but for me, I would maybe call it local. And then the medium itself is organic, because it's organic traffic that's coming through. And then you can give a campaign name as well. So here I've put GMB for Google My Business. And then if you look here, you can see afterwards, once you go into, so if you're familiar with Google Analytics, if you don't have Google Analytics already, I strongly recommend you get in there and sign up. But for those of you that are familiar with it, under the acquisitions report, you can click on campaigns and then all campaigns. And then you can quickly, depending on how many campaigns you've got in there, you might be able to spot it straight away, or you can use the filtering to search for your campaign name. So here you can see we've got the campaign name, GMB, the source and medium, local, organic, and then it's telling me how many sessions came through. And that's really useful, because if I've got some conversions set up in my analytics as well, so maybe if somebody comes onto my website and they fill out a contact form, I might have a conversion for that. I can see what the conversion rate is from this channel. And as I said, Google My Business has a much higher conversion rate, so it allows me to keep an eye on that. So when it comes to actually optimizing your listing for Google My Business, you should always encourage users to leave reviews. I mean, so this is a pretty obvious one, and I'm sure you've all seen it before. When you're listed with, you've got 3, 4, 5 different results showing up, you're going to look at the stars. So, like personally, I never go for anything under 4 stars, even if it's been recommended to me from a friend. So it's really important to make sure people are leaving reviews. Try and encourage people to leave good reviews if you can. It will not only build trust, but Google considers this as a ranking factor as well. So, the more reviews you've got, the higher you're probably going to appear. As I said before, it's also really important to make sure that your business details are consistent with wherever else you mention them. So especially on your website. So whatever you do, don't go and put some opening hours that are different on your website to your Google My Business listing. And equally, you want to make sure that as I said, your address appears exactly as it does on your website and your Google My Business listing. But the same goes for anywhere you mention your website. So it could be online directories or anything like that. It could be your Bing places. So just make sure they're always the same. The next point I want to mention is the description. So I believe Google reintroduced this last year, giving you the ability to add a description of your business. So this gives you the opportunity to help give your prospective customers your story. So provide as much information as you can. Try and make it sound intriguing. Obviously, you want people to know about your business. You want them to come in to visit you as well. Google suggests, they've got a guide actually out there. They suggest using the description field to add details of your offering, to highlight what sets you apart from your competitors. You could also give a bit of information about your history or anything else that's helpful for your customers to know. But just make sure you don't exceed 750 characters. That's where the cutoff is. So yeah, there's also many other features that Google offers as well within these search results that you can use to bulk up your listing. So I'd recommend that you have a good look through and see whatever makes sense to be using. So an example here could be if you have a service you allow people to make appointments via your website, you can add a link that directs people straight to your appointment form. So it's just an extra little way of bulking that out. Also, if you want the world to know about you might have sort of new product features or updates or news or anything like that. You can use what's known as Google Posts to share. You get like an image you can share, and then you can share between 100 and 300 words to sum up your listing. So it's just another way to really bulk it out and show that you're alive and kicking. You care about this stuff, and you've got all your updates in there. So you can actually do this by heading over to Google My Business, to your dashboard, and then just clicking on posts, and then you can push out a new post for your business. So once you've completed your Google My Business listing, you can sync your account with Bing. So this actually lets you, it's a really clever thing. I think they launched this probably last year. And basically, rather than having to go through to Bing and do all of this again, add all of your details again, you can just sync your account, and then you pull all the information in automatically to Bing. So then you're able to obviously show up in their local search results as well. So if you just go to it's bingplaces.com, then this will give you the ability to sign up for those. And you can follow the steps that Bing allows you to access the account. So you have to give access to your Google My Business account, but it'll pull it all in for you. So I just want to talk a bit more about reviews. As I mentioned earlier, reviews are really important, and they should always be, you should always respond to reviews. So Google actually has a guide, and they offer lots of different advice and points on improving your local rankings. And they actually say, so I've got a little quote here, they say, interact with customers by responding to reviews that customers leave about your business. And then the guide goes on to suggest that doing so will improve your visibility and increase the likelihood that a potential customer will visit your location. So, I mean, that makes it pretty clear to me that responding to reviews is definitely something you should be doing. Also, you know, you could be getting negative reviews, but a negative review isn't always so negative if you're able to return it with a positive response. So what I mean by that is, you know, if you can show people that you can demonstrate to people that you deal with issues quickly and well, you know, you might offer them, if it was a restaurant that had a really bad time, you might say, well, we'll get in touch and we'll take you back and you can have another meal on us. You know, that shows people, it instills trust in people, and it can really help to demonstrate that you deal with things properly, and it'll build further confidence in the customer. Another similar thing we've got in here is Google Q&A feature. So this actually allows people to ask questions directly in the search listings. So when you have that, often when you have the listing on the right hand side, the knowledge panel, you get this little button here, ask a question. These questions can range from specific things. They might ask you about your sort of opening hours and that kind of thing. They can also then be upvoted. So if people like the answer or the question, they can click on upvote, and then that will send it to the top of your Q&A section. So obviously this section is designed for customers to ask questions, but there's nothing really stopping you from asking your friends and family to maybe drop a question or two in there, so that this could be used to just ask some of the obvious questions that you might want to be answered straight there. It'll also show again that there's a lot going in with your Google My Business page, and hopefully drive people to your website. So as I mentioned, you can, if you just click on this little ask a question button, you get this box pop up here, and then you can just, ask your question, whatever it may be, and then click submit. So as a business owner or agency, you still need to be prepared, as I said, to monitor the questions, because, you know, if somebody leaves a question, anyone can answer that question. So you want to be the first one to answer the question. One of the issues is, I know that Google didn't used to send notifications when people ask new questions. I believe now they do, but I think only the business owner account will receive the question or a notification of the question. So if you're not the business owner and you're working on behalf of the business owner, then it's best just to monitor the business page and keep an eye on all of the questions coming in. So now that you have your Google My Business set up and optimized, start looking at, you want to start optimizing the actual page itself so that it appears in the search rankings. So this can be done first by researching which keywords your local audience is searching for, and those that relate to your product and services, obviously. Then you can look at optimizing your pages. So you'll have your target keywords. You've got there's a lot of things you need to do to actually optimize the pages so that they appear relevant, so that your content's relevant and Google shows you as a search result. And then finally, you want to track the progress. So you want to be able to understand where your website's ranking for the target keywords that you're going after in the target location. So that's one of the things as well. Obviously, if you want to know how your website is ranking in New York, but you're currently in Lisbon and you're doing a search in Lisbon, you're going to see totally different results. So there are tools out there, WooRank included, that allow you to geo-localize those results. So let's start off with local keyword research. If you don't already have a Google Analytics account or a Google Search Console, or indeed a Bing Webmaster Tools account, then I suggest that you set those up right away, because they're filled with lots of great data and information that you can use in these stages. So I've got just a few examples of how you might tap into this valuable data. In Google Analytics, you can check which cities your visitors are actually coming from. So you can look at your channels under your all traffic report, and then if you set the primary dimension as city, and then you might want to set the time scale to the last, I don't know, 6 months, just to give you an idea. And then you'll get you can order that obviously by sessions and see where most of your traffic's coming from. So in this case, I can see a lot of traffic's coming from London. We've got Leicester, Loughborough. These are all cities within the UK. And then I can take that data and I can use Google Search Console to so basically Google Search Console provides details of keywords that people have used to find your website. Not only to find it, so not only have they clicked it to come through to your website, but also with impressions. So an impression is where your website has showed up in the search results. Maybe it wasn't clicked on, but it just gives you an idea of where you're showing up, and maybe you could improve things slightly to improve your clicks. So this is actually called the report itself is called the Search Results Report, but it's worth noting that Google, they recently changed that, and it was previously the Search Analytics Result, and I found that in some older accounts I'm seeing it's still called Search Analytics. So you'll either see it as Search Results or Search Analytics. So when you're in there, you can open up the time frame as well to get the last 12 months of data, and then use the filters to only show keywords for each of the cities that you're searching for. So I might start off with London. In this case, you can see Leicester. So I basically, you can probably see in the top there, I'm showing the last 16 months of data, and then I've got the query has to include the word Leicester. And this is for a piano tuning website. So it's straight away I'm seeing keywords like piano lessons Leicester, piano tuning Leicester, all these valuable things, these services that I actually offer. So now I can start making notes of these and then move on to the next step. Equally, Bing Webmaster Tools has a very similar tool in there as well. So it allows us to, again, search for each city that we're targeting and pull out a load of related keywords. So by the end of this, you should have a nice long list of related keywords that your site's already kind of showing up for. Google's already seeing you as relevant for. And then the next stage, so once you've got your whole list, there's a tool called Google Keyword Planner. So it's actually part of Google Ads platform, and it's meant to be for Google Ads for you to be able to understand the volumes associated with each of the keywords in your target location. So basically, you can understand here we've got the keyword piano lessons. How often do people search for that within the city Leicester per month? So here we can see we get 210 searches per month. And that just allows us to, once you've got your keywords, you can see which ones are actually worth going after, because there's no point in going after a keyword if no one's actually searching for it. But this part of the tool, they have like a keyword ideas section, so you can put in a list of the keywords that you found, and then Google will then use its algorithms to understand other keywords that are similar to the ones that you've put in. So that gives you an even bigger keyword list. So once you've got this big keyword list, you can put it all through the keyword planner tool. So as I said, that's within this the same tool here, and basically that'll give you, if you set the location you're targeting, so in this case I'll be setting the location to Leicester because that's where I want to target the keywords, and then I can see all of the keywords and how many searches they get per month, and then I can prioritize this list. So then I know right at the top there we've got piano lessons near me, get 720 searches per month. So that's going to be at the top of my list. The next one down, piano lessons, and then I can start to look at which keywords I want to target, which ones I want to rank for. So when it comes to the actual optimization part, there's obviously you've got the keywords that you want to target, and there are many things that you can do for targeting on your sort of on-page optimization. So I'm going to start with an example. So as I mentioned with the piano tuner, he might have a page and he wants to target the term piano tuning San Antonio. So this page, obviously you'd have to include some relevant content about the offering, you know, about piano tuning and about the area as well that they service. So make sure you get enough good content in there for Google to understand what you're going after. But then you want to, the keyword you're going after is piano tuning San Antonio, because you've understood that that drives relevant or a good enough amount to whoever's, you know, people are searching for it. So you'd want to include this in the title tag. You want to make sure you've got the city in the H1 tag as well. You can have it in the page. So the H1, just so you know, is the header tag, which appears right at the top of the page. You should really only have one header tag. Just in case you're not familiar also with the title tag, that's what appears within the search results. So that's the link, the blue link that you see when you see in the search results, also at the top of the page in the bookmark bar. It's really important. You want to have your keyword within the page content itself. You probably want to have it in the URL. So I probably would even have piano-tuning-San Antonio within the URL itself. Image alt attribute. So an image alt attribute is basically a little bit of text that describes an image. And if the image doesn't load properly, you've probably seen it before, you see this little bit of text. It's also used by screen readers, so if people have got visually impaired, then they'll be able to understand what the image is about. But if you can get the keyword in there as well, then that's just another little signal to Google that you're, you know, that you're relevant. And then also your local phone number as well. You want to make sure you get that in there if you've got a local phone number. So probably on every page I would include at the bottom, I'd probably have the address and then your local phone number. Further optimization you can do, obviously the Google My Business page as well, as we talked about. You've got local citations, so this is anywhere that you can mention your website online. So you know, it could be a local directory, or it could be another local business that's talking about you. Consistent NAP, so NAP stands for name, address and telephone number. You may have heard about it before, but it's really important to make sure that it's consistent across all of anywhere it's mentioned online. Positive reviews, well, just having reviews in general, obviously it's an absolute bonus if they're positive. You can think about ways you might want to encourage people to leave reviews. So you may want to send them a follow-up email after they've bought a product off you. You could even do it by word of mouth and just you know, ask happy customers if they wouldn't mind leaving a review. Also regular blog posts. So if you've got a blog, great. If you can create local content, stuff that's to do with your local area, but also relevant to your business as well. Don't just sort of create content for SEO's sake if you can help it, but you know, try and make it for people. Don't just make it for search engines. And then local links. So this is links are obviously still really important for SEO, but you know, with local SEO, they're really important as well. The thing with local links is you can have links from local business as long as they're local. They don't have to be so relevant to your business as they would if they was sort of traditional SEO on a global or national scale. So what I mean by this is you could be a restaurant and you could have a link from a local church, and that would be seen as a decent link. The trick is, if you can, obviously your competitors will be getting links as well. The best thing you can do is try and get links that they haven't got, because the thing with local links is it's about relationships, and if you can build a relationship with somebody, it's maybe sort of less likely that everybody would be able to build this relationship that you have. So I'd recommend getting on that. Okay, and then I'm going to talk a bit about local ranking. So as I mentioned before, WooRank has a keyword ranking tool. So basically, let's say you've got your list of all the keywords that you want to target. You've optimized your pages now so that you've included the keywords in all the right places. Just worth noting, you should only ever optimize one page for a keyword. So you can have several keywords for one page, but you shouldn't try and rank the same keyword on many pages on your site, because it wouldn't make sense. Google actually recently made an update. They won't include, you know, more than a couple of pages probably from your domain within the search results. And if they even do that, you're lucky, you know. So try and stick to one page for each of your keywords. And then yeah, you can use WooRank's local keyword tracking tool, and it'll let you basically upload your keywords. Then you can set the city or the state that you're actually looking to target, and then we update these you know, every day we get the new updates in there, so you can see exactly where you're ranking. But not only for the keywords as well, we also show SERP features. So SERP features is anywhere where you see you see the search results that isn't just the traditional 10 blue links. So as we've seen already, we've had the knowledge panel on the right, we've had the local search results, the local pack results. So whenever that happens, you'll see here, for example, piano repairs about halfway down the page is ranking for the local pack results. So that little icon, when you hover over it, it'll tell you it's local pack. And then you also might have answer box, which is the double quotes at the top there, or Google Shopping, all different kinds of ones. But for the purpose of this presentation, the local pack one is obviously really important. Then you can track your keywords over time as well. So you know, you can also, I forgot to mention that you can add your competitors in there as well. So and then see how you're doing against them over a long period of time. So if you make some changes to your website, you might expect to see yourself or your page increase in ranking, so you can keep an eye on that in there. And then you also finally get the full SERP itself as well, so it will give you details of where other people might be ranking. So if anybody would like to try WooRank out, then as I said, we've got the local keyword tool. You can sign up for a free 14-day trial. You can actually, if you've opted to receive these slides, then you can click on the link here. But otherwise, just head over to WooRank.com. You'll see a free trial link at the top, or like a button, an orange button. Click on that, and then just follow the steps through. And then you have full access to the tool, and you can give it a go and start ranking and sort of making a success of your local SEO. So on that, I would like to ask if there are any questions. And Caitlin, I guess you've maybe got a list of the questions that came in.
Yes, yep, we've got a lot of questions here.
Okay, great.
So for starters, how can we see what's real for rankings? What I see is different than what a client sees.
Okay, yeah, so like I said, you need to be able to get a tool that geo-localizes the search results. So WooRank obviously does that. So yeah, basically with WooRank, you can set your city, and then we have proxies that are available in the city that people are searching in. So it will show you the actual search result. Because like I said, I'm over here in Lisbon. Sometimes even Google has an ad preview tool. Even that doesn't seem to actually show me the real results. So yeah, we actually have proxies in those cities. So that's one way of doing it. Other tools do it as well. So have a look around.
Awesome. Another question here from Molly. Does adding a label in maps help drive traffic?
I don't think it would help drive traffic, but I mean, I guess it's sort of showing interest in your business. I think it's more for a user. It's something that I do all the time. I'm always saving, hearting, you know, the place on the maps and putting labels in there. But as far as I'm aware, it's not something that would help your SEO necessarily.
Okay. And does this work for businesses that aren't storefronts or don't have offices that customers would visit?
Yeah, that's the problem. So you're not really supposed to do it if you don't have an actual location that people can visit. It's not to say that you can't do it. I know that Google have actually been out and checked that these businesses sometimes are actually legitimately, you know, receiving customers. So, but I've seen people that have done it and have managed to get away with it. Obviously, for those businesses, you can also target the local search results. So just the normal 10 blue links that are, you know, are triggered based on where the search is looking from. So you can go after those search results and optimize your pages for those.
Okay. And Donald asked if you need to enter the link builder URL generated in Google My Business.
Yes, maybe I forgot to mention that. Yes, sorry. So what you do is once you've figured out which URL you're going to go after, you copy it, and then that's the URL that you provide as your website. And then it means that, and also for your appointments as well. So you might have seen earlier there was the ability for people to make appointments. It goes straight through to your appointments page. Make sure you add it in there as well. All it'll do, users will still get to the same page. Anything after that question mark is kind of ignored by your browser, but it will just provide that extra information so that you can see where the traffic's coming from.
Okay. And in replying to reviews, does adding keywords help at all with SEO?
It does. So I imagine that it wouldn't help so much as a reply. I know that it does help when people are actually leaving a review itself. I think Google will probably clever enough to realize that people might sort of, you know, spam this a little bit. But yeah, if you can if you know, you've got friends and family, you can always ask them. I wouldn't recommend, being too obvious about it, but definitely keywords within the reviews themselves definitely help, but maybe not so much the responses.
Okay, awesome. Patrick asked, what are your thoughts on location doorway pages? Google says they're bad, but we've experienced some decent success with them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a funny one. I've heard that Google do sort of go against that, but it's something that I've definitely seen a lot of success with. I would do it, but I wouldn't do it too much. So, maybe you've got a few locations that your top locations, you can create pages around those, but don't go and create pages for every single location around, because that's, that just ends up being a bit spammy, I would say.
Okay. And Patrick also asked, is a local citation builder, Bright Local or White Spark, worth the cost?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I've worked in agencies that have used them before, and clients have had good results. I know that they do have a good reputation in the industry. So, yeah, it depends how much you're willing to spend really, and what is expensive for you. But I know that people have had results from them.
Okay. And any advice for a service area business that have one single location in city X but service towns 1, 2, 3, etc.?
Yeah, so I guess you'd have your Google My Business located in where your actual offices are. And then, as I said, well, as we mentioned earlier, the doorway pages, if you've only got a few places, it makes absolute sense for you to have service pages for those different locations. So, like if it was, the example I was given earlier, if we had Leicester, Loughborough, and Hinckley might be 3 cities, but I'm actually based in Rugby, which is another city, I could create pages for all of those quite happily. If I had 20 locations, maybe that's when it might start to get a little bit harder. If you actually have offices in each of these locations, you can actually have Google My Businesses for each of those locations as well, but I'm not sure if that's the case.
Okay. James asked, what is the monthly cost for WooRank?
The monthly cost for WooRank, I believe, is $59.99 a month, but that's for the pro account. We then have a premium account as well. If you just give me 1 second, yeah, $59.99. So the pro account allows you to just look at one website. So that's just, if you've got your own business and you're looking after that. If you're maybe an agency or you've got several websites, the premium account gives you 5 accounts, and that's $179.99 a month. And then we do other accounts for larger agencies that you can just contact us. But you can test the free trial with a pro account. I believe you can try it with a premium account as well if you just head over to the website.
Okay. You may have touched on this, but I would just want to make sure it's all answered. If I don't have a retail store but provide services in a region, should we list an address?
If you're not actually based in this specific area and you don't have an office in that area that you're targeting, then it's very difficult to add a Google My Business account for that. But so that means that you maybe can't get in the local pack results, but there's nothing stopping you from making sure that your content is really focused and relevant to the locations you are targeting, and then you're quite likely to show up in the 10 blue links.
Okay. And CJ asked, is Google My Business of any value if the company does not have a website? Talking with one such company now.
Yes. So actually, I believe that Google does actually offer a little service it's like a little website builder, so you don't even have to have an actual domain. It doesn't look great, I guess, for if I was to try and visit a store and they didn't have a real website, then maybe it wouldn't give me lots of trust. But you can actually create one of these Google builders. You can also provide your phone number and other details in there as well, so people can still get hold of you even if you don't have a website. So you can absolutely do it, yeah.
Okay. And Linton asked, on your mention of phone numbers, are you saying, have you found that having numbers on a city-specific page helps in the page's visibility and search?
Yeah, if you have an actual local, if you have a local phone number and you list that, I'd probably list that on every single one of your pages. So like in your header or your footer, it definitely will help. But equally, so for the piano tuning example that I was giving, that's actually my stepfather's website that I set up for him. He only lists a mobile phone number on there, but he's always number one for everything. So it doesn't have to be there. Depends how, I guess, how sort of competitive the industry that you're working in is and the locality as well.
Okay. And he also added on that question, and on phone numbers, would you say this applies to just a homepage or any page you are targeting with a city focus?
I suppose if you have different phone numbers, then yeah. So if I've got Leicester being a city and I've got a phone number with a Leicester area code, then I would include that. And then if I had another another city that I was covering which had a different area code, then I'd obviously only include the correct number on each page. But if you only have one phone number, then it makes sense to have it on every page.
Okay. And Marcos asked, do reviews from Google local guides have more effect on your business?
That's a good question, actually. I just recently became Google local guide, and I'm not sure if they do. It would make sense that they would. And to be honest, I imagine if a reviewer has lots of reviews and they leave a review on your website, a bit like link, more links pointing in, it gives more value. I would assume that it probably would give some small, but that's an assumption. I can't guarantee that one.
Okay. And Molly had asked a couple questions and wanted to clarify, what do you mean by pages?
What do I mean by pages? So I'm not sure exactly where you mean it, but I guess web pages is what I mean. So I might have WooRank.com/pricing is one of my pages. WooRank.com/about is another page. So all the different pages on your website.
Okay. And Molly, if there's any more clarification needed, you can always send an email to support@mainstreetroi.com, and then we can get it to Sam to clarify too. So Justin asked, how many blog posts per month recommended for local SEO?
That's a good question. I don't think there's any magic number really. I think just as much as, as long as you're kind of keeping it fairly up to date. So if you're able to post one a week, then that's great, because people are able to see that you're alive, you're putting time into your content and your customers. But equally, as I said before, don't just write content for content's sake. So if you've got something good to talk about, then great. But if you haven't and you're scratching your head and you're rehashing something you've already said, then it's probably not going to be of much value.
Okay. And another question here is the best practices approach for Google My Business separate profiles for each location, or is it okay to add all locations to one GMB profile?
I would say add one for each location. If you really have got a physical address for each of the locations, definitely each location, because then that means that depending on where your user is searching from, they'll find the correct one, and you're more likely the location is actually a ranking factor as well. So if a user is in your city, then you're more likely to show up. If they're in another city and it's not clear that you're based there, then it's not going to necessarily get to you. So I'd say one for each city or location.
Okay. And then Molly added to that question, I wasn't sure if you meant the website you can create through the GMB account.
Okay. No, sorry. Well, there is a way of doing that, and I've seen the option before. I've never actually clicked it myself. That's just like having, I think you have like a subdomain on a Google domain, which isn't going to help you anymore with SEO or anything like that. But it just gives people who who maybe haven't got a website, haven't got the time or money to put into a website, they can just have a quick simple template of a website that gives the short information that people need, and then they can just a way for small businesses to also drum up some interest and get some traffic to them.
Okay. All right, that looks like all of the questions for now. We can give it 1 second to see if there's any others.
Sure.
Yeah, and in the meantime, thank you so much for this awesome content, Sam. There's a lot of great questions. Obviously, everyone loved it. As a reminder to everyone else, we'll be sending out the replay of the video and PDF of the slides. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, happy to answer any more questions as well if they want to go via you guys.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, go ahead and send an email or, oh, it does look like there's one more question that came in.
Okay.
Where do you enter the campaign URL to track GMB in GA?
So if you search in Google for campaign tracking URL tool, then it'll come up with a tool. I tell you what, I could, if you like, I'll add this link to the slides. so that you can on the correct page, on the tracking page, and then they can get to it easily. But yeah, if you search campaign tracking tool in Google, it'll take you through to the tool, and then you'll see a form, and it's really clear. Each of the fields says, you know, which points you want to put in there. So there's one for campaign in there as well. But I'll add the link in there, and then yeah, you can share that.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, awesome. So that is all of the questions right now. If anyone has any others, like I said earlier, you can send an email to support@mainstreetroi.com, and we can get those questions answered from Sam. And then we'll be sending out an email with the link to the slides and the presentation recording as well.
Great.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.